Attention, attention, all potential and veteran Fundrise investors. On June 29th, 2022, Fundrise has announced the next step in democratizing and making certain investment vehicles that were previously only available to the one percenters available to the masses of small retail investors. And this time, Fundrise is aiming at private technology companies. How will Fundrise shock the world this time? Let's see what we know so far coming up. If you're new to the channel, my name is Trey and I have over $545,000 invested in stocks, crypto, and real estate. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you check out my entire Fundrise playlist linked in the description below. It has over 40 videos on everything and anything you need to know before, during, and after investing with Fundrise. Also, if you're new and you decide to invest with Fundrise, make sure to open a new account using my referral link in the description below. For limited time only, Fundrise is giving a $50 bonus to anyone who opens a new account with my referral link and deposits just $10. Now, let's get started. So, Fundrise has announced that for the first time in a decade, they're expanding outside the private real estate market and will tackle the multi-trillion-dollar market of private tech companies. But to understand what Fundrise will attempt to do with these tech companies, it is important to note just one more time what Fundrise has done to the private real estate market so far. It is crucial to remember that Fundrise, in its essence, is a tech company. Through rigorous research and development, Fundrise has developed a proprietary system and technology infrastructure which allowed them to disrupt the private real estate market. Before Fundrise came about, private real estate investment was only available to accredited investors with income of over $250,000 a year and a net worth of over $1 million. It was also available to large corporations with billions to their name. Us, the retail investors, were of course left behind. We were not given the opportunity to invest in private real estate because, well, our tiny sums of money just weren't worth the trouble due to the fees and inherent risk. Well, where the wealthy saw trouble, Fundrise saw an opportunity. They were able to develop technology that minimized the fees and expenses and allowed many individual investors to crowdfund small amounts of into huge amounts of money, which Fundrise then used to invest into private real estate markets. And I'm sure everyone will agree that Fundrise's returns speak to the success of this method and of this company. Today, a decade after inception of Fundrise, the company is finally expanding beyond just private real estate market. Shortly, Fundrise will be launching something called a Fundrise Innovation Fund, which will focus on democratizing and making private tech market available to individual investors. There aren't many details available just yet, but what we do know is that this will be a first of its kind, never done before type of fund. Initially, it will be a $1 billion growth equity fund, which will invest in a diversified portfolio of mid to late stage high growth private tech companies and public equities in the short term. And possibly the most important detail that was revealed to us so far is that initially, this opportunity to invest will only be available to the current Fundrise investors who are also the Fundrise IPO investors. If you're not sure what Fundrise IPO is, please check out my entire Fundrise playlist linked below. It has about 3 videos specifically about the Fundrise IPO and how it is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Now, some people are frustrated that this opportunity will only be available to Fundrise IPO investors initially, but I think that Fundrise team is limiting this investment opportunity to the IPO investors for the time being because IPO investors tend to be more experienced, are higher net worth individuals, and are less risk-averse type of investors. In other words, they know what they're doing and they know the risks involved. This new innovation fund will likely be even more risky than Fundrise IPO itself. In fact, it's the riskiest type of investment out there when you invest in a new tech startup. It will likely be very volatile, have very high fees. And so Fundrise wants to protect newer, lower net worth, less experienced investors until all the kinks get straightened out. Last thing Fundrise wants to do is disappoint millions of individual investors with a very high risk investment who may not be able to weather a complete loss of their portfolio. However, I do believe that once this innovation fund gets going and the initial funding of $1 billion successfully completes, this opportunity will become available to all Fundrise investors regardless if they own Fundrise IPO shares. These high growth tech companies have been one of the best performing investments historically, but individual investors never had access to these investments until these companies would go public through an IPO. Again, only accredited investors as well as companies with billions of dollars were the only ones who were able to invest in these private tech startups and get in early and for dirt cheap prices. Of course, this is unfair, but that is how the wealthy get even more wealthier. Fundrise will attempt to change this sleazy practice by offering individual investors an opportunity to get in on the ground floor, meaning pre-IPO prices. As an example, let's take a look at this chart of a recent IPO that everyone knows, Airbnb, ticker ABNB. So, as can be seen from this chart, Airbnb went public through an IPO on December 10th, 2020. It started trading around $140, as you could see here. But what's more important to know is that its IPO price that it was supposed to start trading at on that date was just $75. Trading platform Robinhood offered some IPO shares to an individual investors at a price of $75, but very few, if any, actually got the shares at that price, and that is because the price got bid up all the way to $140 within minutes of Airbnb going public. Therefore, the price that Airbnb started trading at wasn't $75, but was in fact $140. As we could see from this chart right over here. So when we're talking about the pre-IPO prices that funders will attempt to get us, in this example, it would be some price below the $75, which is the IPO price. Yes, you heard that right. All the accredited investors, venture capitalists, and large investment firms probably got Airbnb shares at $50 or lower, and already made insane returns the minute the company went public on December 10th of 2020. Therefore, the actual IPO starting price was $75. The trading price the minute it went public was actually $140 on this chart, but the venture capitalists and these firms and accredited investors got as low as down here, even before this company was thinking of going public. And that is a sleazy practice, because the individual investors are not allowed to partake in this. And who knows why? Now, of course, these pre-IPO investors can't sell their shares right away because the stock would likely crash, because they already doubled or tripled their money the minute the stock goes public. So there's a certain clause when they buy these cheap shares that does not let them sell the shares for a certain amount of time, usually 3 to 6 months, and that is called a lockup period. As can be seen on the chart, once the lockup period period ended, likely somewhere over here in March, the price of the shares, of Airbnb shares, went significantly lower, all the way to $128 from the highs of $220. So likely a lot of these, venture capitalists, accredited investors, sold somewhere near the top after holding it for 3 to 6 months. They started selling it here, and Airbnb sold off. So all the retail investors that actually bought Airbnb up here in the 200s are stuck holding the bags, while the current price of Airbnb is just $90, which is literally below the price that it went public at. Fundrise team and CEO Ben Miller believe that due to recent market volatility, recession, and crash, or whatever you want to call it, that now is the perfect time to disrupt the sleazy venture capitalist rats and change the status quo. There are many more questions to be answered and details to be revealed in the future videos about this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I have surfed on Fundrise Reddit, and there are some mixed thoughts about this innovation fund. Some investors absolutely love the idea. Others say that Fundrise should concentrate on what they do best, and that is real estate, and they may be spreading themselves too thin. We just have to wait and see. I will make a separate video regarding the Reddit post and go into more details regarding the comments. And I will also make another video going into details about this innovation fund once more information becomes publicly available. If you're new to Fundrise, the important thing to understand is that you must open a new account as soon as possible. Fundrise is now offering not one, but 2 once-in-a-lifetime opportunities for investing. And if you miss out, you will be disappointed, and you will regret it, while all of us Fundrise investors are enjoying these massive returns and massive gains. Those 2 once-in-a-lifetime opportunities are 1, the Fundrise IPO, and now 2, Innovation Fund. For a limited time, Fundrise will give you a $50 bonus if you open a new account using my referral link, so make sure you do that. You put some money in there, get those Fundrise IPO shares into your portfolio, and make sure you're ready to purchase when the Innovation Fund becomes available. Now, this is it for me, but I want to hear from you. What is your opinion regarding this Innovation Fund? Do you think it will produce great returns, or do you think it will fail miserably? Should Fundrise just stick to real estate, or should it broaden its horizons to every single private investment vehicle out there? Let me know. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Happy 4th of July. Take care. Woof, woof.